So here's what it comes with. This is a 12 volt 5 amp power supply. This is the AC US cord that has a mating plug for the back of the unit. This has a barrel plug on there. It comes with a remote control, a little controller that has a infrared sensor on there that will pick up the infrared that's on the front of the remote. And then it has a connector, and on this connector you will notice that there is an arrow. I put an ink pen on one side. That arrow lines up with the connections that are on these LEDs, and the way I got it to work, it only works one way, is you line that up, and the black wire, which is the common, is what goes to that little arrow. So it's the black wire that goes to the common, and that's how you're going to get it to light up the right way. On the other end here is another series of connectors that you could put more in parallel if your power supply can handle that. It also comes with a little simple instruction sheet, which doesn't make too much sense about the product. The remote itself we're going to test, and it has a little plastic piece that we have to remove so that the battery gets engaged properly on the device itself. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to use the AC US plug that into the back of this unit. It only goes one way. And the other end we're going to plug into 120 volts. And the power supply comes on. You see a green LED right there. The other end, which is the barrel connector, gets plugged into the back here. And you can see that the LEDs come right on as long as that black wire is lined up with that little arrow right there. Now they start off in some default mode, and it looks like what it's doing, it's doing some really cool blinking mode. You can see that these are very bright. This is probably the biggest strip of LEDs that I've purchased up to this point. It looks like the diameter is about 1/2 of an inch across, and some of these LEDs look like they're 3/16 of an inch square, and they're very, very bright, very nice looking. Now you don't want to run it too long like this because it'll overheat and damage the LEDs, but for demonstration purposes I'm going to run it to show you. So let's test out this remote. There's an off and on here, and that's the main power, and I think this off and on here is what turns on these percentages. So we're going to try that because the manual, the sheet is really confusing. So I had hit the off. Now let's try the on. So you can see it comes on solid red, and it's in a mode where it's probably fading. There's a jump mode right here you can hit. You can see the difference, how it's jumping. And then we have the fade mode. And then there's something called jump 7. And you can see these are all kind of different rates, but they're doing similar things. There's a fade 7. So you see it's fading faster than it did before. Then there's a flash mode. So it has an off break in between. And then there's auto. And slow. Slower blinking. Then quick. Quick blinking with the different colors. And again, I'm not sure what auto does. You have to experiment with all these different settings. Now if you go over here to these solid colors, you got red, green, you hit red, green, blue. Then you have these colors in between, the orange, the red, the yellow. So it's blending the colors, the percentage of colors to make these colors on this palette. Even a pink color right there. Pretty neat. Then you could even have white. And you got this button right here. Let's see what this does. That looks like it's an overall dimmer button. You got dim up, dim down on the top there. Now going back to this little section right here, let's turn that on. It looks like it all come on, and then I see a looks like a volume control right here. Doesn't seem to be doing it. You have a percentage, 75%, 100%, 50%, or 25%. So those are fixed dimming levels, and then you have an off and an on for these fixed dimming levels. So that's what that off and on is right there. And that's different than the main power off and on right here, because this one should power it down. Let's see, got this one here. So it's a little confusing because this one seemed to power it down, this one seemed to power it up. So I'm not sure if these are identical functions, because like you can see now it's not using the power off one. I have to go down here to do that. So you just have to experiment with this controller, because the manual doesn't clearly define what these things do. But there's a lot of capability and a lot of different settings on here. You just have to learn on your own, and then once you get it down pat, you can see what everything does, just like I did right here. So they didn't get warm, which is nice, but you don't want to run it too long, like I mentioned. So this is a pretty neat unit. I like it. I'm just going to take a little time to get used to this, but once you figure all this out, it's a very nice unit, and I'm going to give it a 5-star rating. And I hope this review helped you with your buying decision. Thanks for watching.